It looks like we're live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the webinar. Thank you so much for tuning in. Looks like we've got lots of people joining already. That's awesome. For all of you that are here, we'd love to hear where you're tuning in from. So definitely go ahead and drop your business name and where you're located in the chat. We'll go ahead and give everybody a little bit of time to get settled before we get started. But to everybody here so far, thank you so much for joining. Thanks for spending a little bit of time with us today. Hello, Ginger and Maud. Shout out Portland. Hi, Jordan from Colorado. Atomic Tattoo in the chat. Welcome, Tampa. Thank you so much, guys, for being here. We're so happy to see you all here. We'll start with introductions. My name is Kale. I am a salon industry veteran of over 10 years and content marketing manager here at Mangomint.
And hey, everybody, my name is Abby, and I'm a product marketing manager at Mangomint, and I've spent the last few years working in B2B software.
And you guys, we're thrilled to announce the launch of our new improved payroll report, along with our new built-in payroll processing solution. We're super excited to show you today for salons and spas. What I'll do first here is give you a little agenda of our, a rundown of what we're going to talk about today. We'll start by showing you our new interactive payroll report. Then we'll walk you through the process of enrolling in payroll processing. We'll also show you how to enroll your staff members. And then finally, we'll show you how to run payroll in Mangomint before we pause to take your questions. So we'll answer as many questions as we can live during the webinar today together. Our team will also be standing by in the chat. So if we don't get to your questions live on air, they'll be there in the chat to get your questions answered. And if you don't get your questions answered during the webinar, don't worry. We will have our support team reach out to you one-on-one afterwards to make sure you get all the information that you need today. But before we talk about our new tools and exciting features that we have, let's start by talking about sort of where payroll processing historically has been in the industry so far.
Yeah, thank you. So I think everybody who's joining us here now can really agree that payroll in the salon and spa industry has historically been a huge headache. As you all know, it's a really tedious and time-intensive process to run your payroll. I'm hearing this all the time from the customers that I speak with all the time. And it typically requires you to use multiple systems. Right now, salon and spa owners, you have to log into your salon and spa software, manually download your payroll reports, export those, and then have to go and run your payroll in another system entirely. So this process is really annoying, it's error prone, and it's also really expensive because you're paying for multiple tools. Also, just thinking about payroll in general, I know that payroll can be really scary for a lot of salon and spa owners. Think about it. You're dealing with taxes, compliance issues, all of that. There's a lot of complex details that are super important to get right. And so it can honestly be really intimidating as well. And Kale, I know you actually have some direct experience with this, so I would love if you could share more about that.
Sure. Yeah. Like I said, I have been working in the industry for quite a long time. For both corporate salons and private salons. The best example I have is most recently I was working for a larger salon. We had over 20 stylists, and we also had an esthetician, and our books are pretty complicated as a result. But it was, we were using one of the major, like the big salon and spa software companies. And our process was, it was kind of tedious. It was very manual. The owner would have to come in every couple of weeks and, on like a Saturday morning, go ahead and like put together reports, export those into like spreadsheets. And it was a lot of work. So eventually we ended up hiring an accountant to sort of handle things for us, but it still required us to go into the software and get all those reports put together and then take them out and, physically give them to another person. And it was, it was a little scary. It was, very tedious work that required a ton of manual labor on our part. And I think that's the experience of a lot of salon and spa owners is, they are sort of, creative and technical professionals that often, spent many years behind the chair. Maybe this is their first business. They're not tax professionals. There's a lot of tax and legal implications that come along with handling payroll. And, not everyone is super excited about doing that as a business owner. So, there's a lot of room for growth in that, in the industry for that just, wasn't being fulfilled.
Yeah, absolutely, Kale. And I will just echo that as well. That's what I'm constantly hearing from so many salon and spa owners. And I think about this, this also goes beyond the salon and spa industry. So in my years, working in tech, often with small businesses as well, I've really seen that the business owners that I've worked with, they really struggle with payroll. A lot of these smaller businesses, they're trying to cobble together a solution. And meanwhile, payroll is not their expertise or their focus at all. Of course, running your payroll, it's a super fundamental piece of running your business and your business operations, but it can end up being a distraction as well. And specifically in this industry, there hasn't been a great solution for salons and spas until now. So really, at Mangomint, we decided to make this process way easier for salon and spa owners so that you can focus on running your business and handle all of your payroll needs in the same software that you're already using every single day. So I think with that, this is a great time to kind of jump into our demo, and let's start by looking at our new interactive payroll report.
And Abby's going to go ahead and pull this up and walk you through our new payroll report and show you the new screen and how all of that works right now.
Okay, so I have my 4Aspen Salon and Spa account pulled up here, and I'm going to show you guys our new payroll report. So right now I'm here in my calendar screen. As our customers who are listening today, as you'll recall, the old payroll report used to live in our report screen, but now this is moved and you can access this via the brand new payroll screen. So right here, I'm going to go and click on payroll up at the top. And so I'm really excited about this. We've redesigned and improved the payroll report to make it a lot easier to get all the payroll data that you need. And we've also added some really exciting new functionality to this report as well. And before I get too deep into the payroll report, I do just want to call out as well that this new report, it's available for all Mangomint customers. It's on every plan, whether or not you sign up for payroll processing. So here I am in my payroll report. I can see those up here who are enabled for payroll processing, and I can also choose to see the ones who are not enabled for payroll processing. I can go here and customize the time period as needed. So let's say, for example, I want to look at December. I'm just going to go here and we'll look at December 2023. So then I'll go ahead and generate a report. So we'll just let that generate, just give it a second there. It'll usually take just a couple of seconds. It's loading all of that data for the month. Okay, perfect. So now my report has been generated and we can see all of the columns and totals at a glance here. So if you look here, you can see the hours worked. You can see the hourly compensation, services, service sales. We can see products, product sales, tips. All of that information is right here. And then I can easily drill down further into the information as well. So if I want to do that, I can click on a specific staff member to drill down and actually see all of the different payroll details and see details for each individual day as well. So let's now say, for example, that I want to look at the details for December 4th. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on that, and then I can expand the details further for this specific day. And so here I can see a day summary. I can also look here and see all of the information about the service and the product commission. And then something really exciting that we've added is, you guys will notice here, if you take a look, we have this sale number column right here. What we have here is we have links to each sale. And so all you need to do now to access those individual sales is you can click right here and you'll be taken directly to the sale. It'll open in a new tab and you'll be right there. So you can see here, I could click into any of those and open that. So I love that new functionality that we've added.
Yeah, and also if you scroll all the way down on the details pane, you'll see that you have the option to add a pay adjustment now. So this is great if you want to add a bonus, for instance. Maybe you have a stylist that stayed late to help out a VIP client and you want to reward them, right? So you can click add pay adjustment and then select bonus as the pay adjustment type. You can enter a bonus amount in the field below that. And then in the field below that, you can add a brief description to describe what that pay adjustment is for. Once you're done with that, you can hit create. And in just a couple seconds, you'll see that in that details pane, that adjustment will be reflected right there at the bottom. And you'll also see that reflected in the pay adjustments column of the payroll report itself. And you'll see on the right-hand side there. So now that we've walked through the new payroll report, this is actually the perfect time, Abby, to sort of take a look at the employer setup. So Abby's going to take the wheel on this one. She's going to walk you through it so you can see exactly what that process looks like. So I'm going to hand that off to you, Abby, so we can take a look.
Yeah, thanks, Kale. So I've moved over to another account here that's not yet enrolled in payroll processing. So I can give you guys a little bit of a peek at that process from the employer perspective. And something I want to point out here as well is that when you want to start using our built-in payroll processing, the first step will actually be for you to have a quick call with our support team so that you can just ensure that this will work really well for your needs and your specific business. And then also you'll be able to learn more about the transition process. So our support team will be walking you through all of this. So after you have that call with our team, you will then complete your employer enrollment. So right now in my account, I'm here on the calendar screen, but I'm now going to head over to our settings where I can actually start the setup for payroll processing. So what I'm going to do now is just go here to settings, and then we're going to go to business setup. And then we are going to go to this tab here. We have a new tab that says payroll processing, and I'm just going to click that. And so as you can see here, this is where you'll actually go to sign up. Now, as you guys start this process, you will need your federal employer identification number and your bank account information. So you'll make sure you want to have that handy as well. So let's go ahead and enroll this employer, and we're going to sign up now. So I'm going to click sign up, and now I'm going to go ahead and set up payroll processing. So I'll hit continue. And then right here, this is where you can select which staff members you would like to set up and enroll in payroll processing. So I want to add, let's say I want to add 3 of them, but let's say, for example, I don't want to add Andre right now. I can just go ahead and disable that toggle, and then Andre will not be set up for payroll processing right now, but we can always go back and add him later. That's really easy to do. So I'm going to add these 3 staff members. So then I'm going to just hit continue. And then right here, this is where you, of course, review the terms and conditions, accept those, and then we'll go ahead and confirm. And right now we're setting up payroll. So this will just take a couple moments while we get all that information input into there. And then from there, we're going to start adding additional information to personalize the payroll onboarding experience. Okay, perfect. So now we're here. So now we're just going to go through a couple steps here, and I'm not going to go through every single item here. We don't have time for that, but this will just give you a little bit of a preview of what this will look like as you go through this process. So first, I'm going to click start, and I'm going to add my desired first payday. So I'm just going to click this, and then I'm going to add January 15th as my first payday. And then, and of course, you can change that later if you want to. And then this is going to be my first payday in 2024. So I'm going to click yes. And then I'm just going to go ahead and save that. And then next, I'm going to go and add a work location. So I do have an address that I've saved here in Chicago, actually. So I'm going to go ahead and add that now. This employer is located in Chicago. So we'll just go ahead and add the city.
Shout out to any viewers we have tuning in from the Windy City.
Exactly. Okay, add that zip code. This is going to be the default work location for this employer, and this is the principal address. So then I'm just going to go ahead and save that. Let that save. It's just inputting all that information. Okay, perfect. So now I have my new work location set up. You could always add a new one there if you wanted to, but I'm just going to hit done, and we're going to go to the next step. So next we need to actually set up a pay schedule and our pay groups. So I'm going to go ahead and click start right there. And, you know, before I go too deep into this, all a pay group is, I want to call this out in case you're not sure what this is. So a pay group is simply a group of workers that are paid on the same frequency, such as, you know, maybe you have a group of managers that are paid twice a month. That would be a pay group. So I'm going to just go ahead and add a pay group here. Okay, and then in this example at the Four Oaks Salon and Spa, they do pay their staff members every other week. So I'm just going to select the pay frequency right there, and you can see we have multiple options available for you. And then I'll add a couple more details right here. So again, we add our first pay date that we had before. So let me add that. And then I do need to also add the date that the first pay period ends on. So I'm going to go ahead and add that now. And then I really love this here because you can see that once we added those dates, it automatically generated a preview of the upcoming paydays. And you can also see the pay periods as well. So it's really easy to see all that. And I love, having all that right there as you're going through the setup. And then from here, you'll also want to add your workers to the pay group. So I'm just going to go ahead and add all of these workers to the pay group I just created. I'm going to go ahead and save that. And we'll just give that a second. And then we'll go on to the next step here. So for the next step here, I'm going to get my team ready. So we're going to add a little bit more information about our workers that we're setting up. So, and this is important. This is where we actually select the workers classifications. So again, you can have your W-2 employees or you'll have your 1099 contractors. So in this example, I'm going to set up a couple different employees, and then I also have a contractor, Jennifer White. And definitely when you guys get to this step, if you have any questions, you're not 100% sure how a worker should be classified, definitely, speak with your financial advisor, your CPA, et cetera. Make sure you get the proper guidance on that from your financial advisor that you're working with in case there's any questions about that. So now I've set up my worker classifications right there, and then I'll just go ahead and click next. And then now we're going to where it's going to do the self-setup invites. So this is really great because you can invite your workers to enter their own details. And this is also really helpful because we're going to collect all that information so you guys don't have to do that. You can let your workers add all of their information. So what I'm going to do is add all of the workers right here. And then I'm just going to go ahead and invite them and click next. And then this is where we'd add some additional setup information. So in this area, what you can do here is if you want, you could also go in and select whether or not your employees are eligible for overtime, for example. So if I wanted to do that, I would just go in here, update that. I'm not going to go and fill all of that out right now, but just to let you guys see what that looks like. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and click done. And then at this point, now that you've invited your workers, they are going to receive invitations to finish setting up their enrollment. So next, I'm going to fill in my tax information. So we'll just add a couple details there. Let me go ahead and click start. I'm going to add my company name. And then for the tax filing address, I'm just going to have the default work location. We'll go ahead and click next. And then I'm going to enter my federal tax information. So I'm just going to add my employer identification number. There we go. And again, this is just a demo account. So this is all fake data, obviously, that I'm entering here. And then I'm going to set up my federal deposit schedule. I'm just going to say that that is monthly. And then I'm going to go ahead and click next. And then this is where I'll enter my state tax information as well. So for this one, you can always go back and fill this out later. So I'm just going to put, I don't have it yet for this withholding account number and the unemployment account number. I'm just going to say I don't have that yet. I can go back and add that later. And then I'll just add my tax rate. So I'm going to add 4%. And I'm going to go ahead and save. Oh, and then I'll also set up my withholding deposit schedule. So I'm going to select semi-weekly for that. And then I'm going to go ahead and save that. And we'll send all that information through.
Awesome. And then up next, we're going to add our company bank account. So once we click into that window, it'll pop up with information that we need to fill in. So that includes the name on our account that Abby will fill out for us here. We'll also need to enter our routing number and our account number there. And then at the bottom, we will re-enter the account number to verify it. And at the bottom, we'll also choose whether that is a checking or a savings account. You'll also notice here at the top that there's a little disclaimer. So essentially how this process works is once you fill in that account information, we'll send 2 micro deposits to that bank account. That can take up to 2 business days to appear in your account. But once it does, you'll see here in a couple minutes, you'll have the option to verify that that bank account information is correct before you proceed.
Perfect. And I'm going to go ahead and close that for now. Again, we're not going to send all that information through at this point. But then after you add all of your bank account information that Kale just explained, you would also then go and add your company signatory right here. So again, this person is responsible for signing your government forms. Typically, in most cases, this would be the company owner of the salon or spa. But it could be somebody else as well. So I'm going to go ahead and close that. And then after you receive those micro deposits that Kale just mentioned, you would then come back to the screen and complete your bank verification. And you would just have those 2 small deposits handy, you would add them there, and then you would complete the verification. And then at that point, your payroll account would be set up. So I'll go ahead and close that out now. So that's kind of showing you guys a little bit about what it looks like to, start your employer setup. Now I want to hop back into our account that we were in previously, where payroll is already fully set up, and kind of show you guys more about how to enroll a new staff member and actually run your payroll in Mangomint. Okay, so now I'm back here in my other account, the For Aspen Salon and Spa. And so I'm going to show you guys what it looks like now that this account was already set up previously. So what I'm going to do is go back to settings where we just were before in the other account. And then I'm going to go to business setup. And then I'll go back to that payroll processing tab we were at before. And what you guys will see here is that your payroll account has been successfully set up. So you can see that nice green status indicator. It's all ready to go, and that has all the information already entered. Also, if you want to update some of the information, you can click Access Payroll Account Setup. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And then as you can see here, you can go in and update some of this information if you need to. So maybe if you want to edit your tax information, you can just go here, edit that. You can go here, update your pay groups. You can update your employer bank accounts as well. So you can always go in here and update this information whenever you need to. So I'm going to go ahead and close that out. And then I also want to show you guys now, what does this look like for our staff members? So let me go ahead and go over to settings and then actually click here on staff members. So keep in mind, in this demo account that we have some staff members who are already enrolled in payroll processing, and then we have some other staff members who are not yet enrolled. So in this example, Bridget and Olivia that we have here, they are already enrolled in payroll processing. So if I go here, I'm going to click on Bridget. And then if we go here to Bridget's compensation tab, you can see all of the information about how Bridget is compensated. And then you can see here that it says payroll processing, her status is active. So Bridget has successfully enrolled in payroll processing. And we can also check out Olivia. She is the same. If we go here, we're on Olivia now. On the same compensation tab, we can see that Olivia is also active in payroll processing. So it's really easy to go and check the status of your staff members here as well. So now, let's say, for example, that we have a new staff member who has recently joined the For Aspen Salon. They were just hired. And so we actually now want to enroll them in payroll processing. So I'm going to now go to Drake Friedman. He's been hired recently. Here's Drake. And so we are actually going to add Drake to payroll processing now. So I'm going to go here, and you'll see here, if somebody hasn't been invited yet, you'll see this nice screen where it says invite to payroll processing. So I'm just going to go ahead and click sign up. And then here, what we'll need to do is actually note how Drake Friedman is employed. So again, his classification. So he'll either be a W-2 employee or a 1099 contractor. I'm just going to go ahead and say that he is a contractor. So I'll go ahead and select that option and then hit continue. And then now we can send an email invitation to our staff member. So it says we're about to send an email invite to Drake, has Drake's email address there. And then we'll go ahead and send that. Okay, and so now I'm sending the email invitation to Drake. That will just take a moment. Perfect. And now we can see that the staff member was successfully invited. And so at this point, what has happened now is that Drake has received an email invitation. And so from there, he'll just open up the email and it will take him to a screen where he enters just a few more important details. So of course, he'll enter his personal information. Also for W-2 employees, they will enter their tax information. And everybody, of course, will also be entering their bank information. And your workers can choose between direct deposit. Probably most people will want to use direct deposit, but they can also choose a paper check option if they want to. Okay, so I'm going to click OK on that. And so now I'm going to show you guys how to actually run your payroll in Mangomint and view your past payroll runs. So let's go ahead and we're going to head back to the payroll screen to check that out. Okay, so I'm going to go here to payroll. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to generate a new payroll report. And I am choosing the group that is enabled for payroll processing. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to click today, for example, and then I am going to generate the report. So this will just take a minute to generate. And then as you can see here, we have the report right here. We can see all of the information, all the totals, any pay adjustments, tips, all of that information is right here, just like we saw before. And then what I'm going to do next is click the button to run an off-cycle payroll. Obviously, if you had an actual upcoming payroll run, you would see that that was upcoming. This is my demo account. So right now I'm just doing an off-cycle payroll run. Obviously, the dates and the, some of the details you're seeing here are not, they're a little bit wonky just because it's a demo account. So I'm just going to do an off-cycle payroll. So I'll go ahead and click on that. And then it's going to take me to a screen where I can review all of the details. And if you see this, these errors are actually really helpful because these will always be called out in case any of the dates you try to select are incorrect or anything like that. So we actually have this here so that you can make sure you select the right dates that fit all of the information you've submitted previously. What I'm going to do now, though, is just select an upcoming pay date. So I have selected that. I'm going to have my pay date be January 3rd, 2024. So right here, I can review, again, all of the details. I have 2 staff members that I'm going to be paying in this payroll run, Bridget and Olivia Taylor. You can see the pay method here as well. And you can see, again, all of the information, gross pay and all the other details there, tips, hourly compensation, all of that. So now I'm going to go ahead and click next. We'll click that. And then right here, again, we can review one more time. Also, something else that you can do here before you actually submit your payroll is you can go here to where it says view details, and I'm going to go ahead and open that up. And so right here, I really like this because we have a lot of great transaction details for you to see. You can see who the employee is. You can see the pay period, the pay date, what the payment method is. And then, of course, you can see all the other information broken out as well. So all the pay information, all of the information about your taxes withheld and the contributions that will all show right here. So, and again, this is only for one day. So obviously these amounts you're seeing, you would typically have, higher amounts here. So I'm going to go ahead and close that. And then I am now going to submit the payroll. Okay, so now I'm submitting the payroll. Excellent. Okay, it says we did it. So we are also seeing this little reminder here. This is a reminder to write checks. I did have one staff member that I'm paying by check. And so we have this reminder here, just as a little reminder, that they are getting paid by check, and it even has the date that it will be delivered on as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and click done. And then we can see it was successful. So we have successfully submitted our payroll run. You can see the total payroll amount, the debit date and the debit amount. And then, of course, if you want to expand this again, you can see that one worker. We have Olivia Taylor, who is being paid by a paper check. So you guys can just see, how fast and easy that was to do all inside of Mangomint. So now I'm going to go ahead and click done. And then I think, this is probably a really great time, Kale, to pop back into our chat. I think we do have some questions that have come in. So I want to go through some of those and see if we can answer some questions here for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. Looks like we've got a ton that have come in, and fortunately support has been in there swiftly answering them. So if you did already get your question answered by support in the chat, we might touch on it still if it's an important question, because others might want to know that information as well. But I do have a couple of good ones here to pick off the top. The first one I see is, does Mangomint handle all my tax payments and filings for me? So yes, as was mentioned in the chat there, Mangomint's payroll processing is full service as a payroll solution. So we take care of the tax calculations, the payments, we take care of filings for customers that are using payroll processing. And that includes quarterly and end of year filings. We also, we support W-2, 1099, 940, Form 941 as well. And we also handle local and state tax forms. So if you have questions on, specific location or locale based issues, make sure to reach out to our team and we'll be sure to get back to you. As you've seen in the chat, they're on top of it. But otherwise, the simple answer to your question is yes.
Awesome. Thank you, Kale. I see another question here too. Jordan has asked, can I add more than one pay group? So that's a great question as well. It's really easy to add multiple pay groups if you need that flexibility. You can go to business setup that I showed you before and click on payroll processing. And right there, you can edit your pay groups and add new ones. So even after you've already enrolled in payroll processing. So for most employers, one pay group is sufficient. But, for example, if you have a group of managers who need to get paid on one schedule, maybe a receptionist who is paid on a different schedule, then you might want to set up multiple pay groups for them.
That's a good point. I see another one here lower in the chat. How many times a month will I be able to run payroll? So you have access to unlimited payroll runs. So when you sign up for payroll processing, you can run as many as you like. Those are included in the cost. So that's if you're doing regular runs or off-cycle runs, all of those are included with the cost of payroll processing.
Perfect. Thanks. I see another question here too. Where can employees and contractors view their pay stubs? They'll be able to see their pay stubs they can see their digital pay stubs in their Mangomint account. So when your workers log in, they will see a My Payroll screen where they can access their digital pay stubs.
And you know what? I think this is a good one too. So this is location based, but this is good for everybody to know. So I see a question, is payroll processing available in Colorado? Yes, absolutely. Payroll processing is available in all 50 states. So it doesn't matter which state in the US you're from, payroll processing is available to you. If you have any questions, again, reach out to us, our support team. But yeah, you're covered, if you're in the United States as a single location business.
Awesome. And looking here, I see a question. This is actually one I definitely want to make sure we touch on. It's talking about garnishments, deductions, things like that. So somebody has asked, what if we need to handle deductions for things like child support or IRS garnishments? So our payroll processing can handle deductions and reimbursements. Definitely let us know if this applies to you, especially when you're in that call with our support team. Let us know, and we will work with you on that. But yes, we can handle your deductions and reimbursements.
That's actually a good one to touch on because I don't think we covered IRS stuff.
Yeah.
I wanted to pull out one last one here. I know we're coming up on time here because we just went over the 30-minute mark, but wanted to make sure we get to this one. There was a question if you can resend an invite to a worker if they still haven't enrolled or like added their bank information. Yeah, you can absolutely do that. We made that super easy. So if there's a pending invite for payroll processing, you can resend the invitation. That's in the staff members and then compensation tab. You can resend right there from Mangomint. And since, like I mentioned, we are coming up on time here, hopefully if you're in the chat right now, support is on top of your questions. Again, if they don't get to them right now, they will reach out to you one-on-one. But now would actually be a good time to talk about pricing and availability because we did just answer that question about which states it's available in, obviously all 50, but pricing and availability is going to be important here. So as of right now, we do support single location businesses in the US for payroll processing. So if you are a single location business, you're located in the United States, pricing is an additional $50 per month plus $8 per month per worker. And so for current availability, like I said, single location businesses in the US, but for businesses in the US with multiple locations, we have support coming for that at about the end of December. So stay tuned for that. That's going to happen very soon. And for businesses in Canada, this feature should be available to you in early 2024. So our friends in the Great North, we will have support for you coming very soon. Stay tuned for that. If you are interested in payroll processing, next steps. So if you are in the US, schedule a quick call with our team. We can get in touch with you. You can learn more and determine if you're ready to get started in 2024. Information will be linked for that in the chat. Also, I would recommend that you start that process as soon as possible. Make sure you do it so that you're ready for 2024. It does take 1 to 2 weeks to get onboarded fully. So, if you really want to get started in the new year, which we highly recommend just because it makes for a clean start for the new year, you don't have to worry about, processing between two platforms. That's the easiest path. It simplifies everything. We suggest getting started with it as soon as possible so that you're ready to roll when that ball drops on New Year's. And Abby, you're probably the best person to ask for this. What are next steps for customers in Canada or those with multiple locations if they're interested?
Yeah, so if you're located in Canada, or if you have multiple locations and you're interested in using payroll processing, then that's available for you. You can fill out the payroll processing information request form that we do have. I think our team is going to be linking that in the chat. And then, if you're not yet using Mangomint and you're interested in learning more about our software for your salon or spa, what you can do is go to mangomint.com. You can schedule a demo right there on our website. You can, of course, also sign up for a free 30-day trial and check it out, really test it out and see how that's going to work for you. And then definitely let our team know if you're interested in payroll processing as well, so they can give you more information about it and give you more of a demo, especially a demo that's more personalized to your salon or spa, so we can go through a lot more aspects of the product with you. And of course, I know we had so many questions today. Of course, I think there's some questions we didn't have time to get to, but we'll definitely be following up one-on-one with everybody who, left questions, and make sure all of your questions are answered after the webinar.
Absolutely. And thank you so much to everyone who joined us today. I think that concludes everything we wanted to show you. Thank you so much for your questions. A ton of interesting questions there. We're so excited to share these new capabilities of Mangomint with you, and we're really glad you were here to see them. If you have any more questions, like I said, make sure you drop them in the chat and we'll get back to you. We hope that this makes payroll processing easier for you. I know it's made it easier for us and for a lot of salons who have tested it out. So thank you again. I hope you have a fantastic day. You deserve it. You make everybody else's day every day. So thanks again, and we'll talk to you soon, everybody. Have a great day. Bye.
Thanks so much, everybody.